Hi, Beetle Eddie here. I guess this is kind of Beetle news. It's related to some kind of a beetle. Anyway, it's news about The Who and Zak Starkey. Zak Starkey is the son of Ringo Starr. Now, Zak Starkey is the drummer. I don't know if you say is or was. I don't know what I should say. Is the drummer for The Who. He has been the drummer for 29 years. Now, Keith Moon was of course good friends with Ringo, and until he was very fond of Ringo's son, Zak. And when Zak was 8 years old, Keith Moon bought Zak a drum set and started giving him lessons. So Zak had lessons from Keith Moon and of course from Ringo. I can't imagine Zak wanting to be a drummer and not getting lessons from his father. So Zak was a pretty good drummer, is a pretty good drummer. Now I don't know what happened. Some kind of story that Roger Daltrey dislikes Zak Starkey, and so he fired him. He didn't like the way he played their last song, "The Song Is Over," which they're having a "Song Is Over" tour. So because he didn't like the way he played the song, he's firing him after 29 years. Then there's news that he's got back together. He's not fired. The news came today, or late last night. He's fired again. And they're going to have another drummer for the tour that they're going to be having this summer. And one question. The Who are announcing this is their final tour. They're not touring after this. Probably going to retire. If they're not going to be touring, if they're retiring and all that, and this is their final tour, why? Why fire this guy who you've been working with for 29 years? He's been with The Who longer than Keith Moon. Why fire him? I'm not understanding this. And yet is this The Who? The Who is for these four original guys: Roger Daltrey, Pete, and Keith Moon, and John. John was, the bass player. You know what? I have an idea. The bass player is gone and the drum is gone. Why don't we get Paul and Ringo to join The Who? Paul's a bass player, and Ringo, which is Zak's father, he could be the drummer for The Who, the new drummer. Call yourself The Who. Or you could call yourself The Who, the Beatles, The Who. I don't know. This whole thing's insane. And you have two guys left in your band of original, and you still call each other the band. After Led Zeppelin broke up, Robert Plant and Jimmy Page toured together. And they didn't call each other Led Zeppelin. They called each other Plant and Page. Because they know they're not Led Zeppelin without the four guys. They're not that Led Zeppelin with only three guys. They broke up after Bottom died. So, they're more intelligent. They're smarter. How can you go around, call yourself The Who, the original guys who were at Woodstock, and had all these great albums, and Who's Next, and all that. Great album, Don't Get Fooled Again, Barbara O'Reilly. And call yourself the Who when there's only half the band left. You know, Paul and Ringo, sometimes they play together. Like Ringo comes on a special song, when Paul does his concert. They're not calling each other the Beatles. They're not the Beatles with all four of them. The last Beatles song, Now and Then. At least they got John's voice, and they can call each other the Beatles, because all four was kind of on the record. So I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. What happened with Zak? Why is Zak sacked? Why is Zak sacked? That's my question. Why are they firing this guy? I happen to be getting tickets for the Who, but I don't know. I'm losing. I'm losing my enthusiasm about that. I wanted to see Zak Starkey. Doesn't seem like I'm going to, unless they say, "Oh, we made up again," and he's gonna, he's in and out and in and out and in and out, playing all night. Mama's gonna squeeze back, and he doesn't sleep at night. He goes in and out and in and out and in and out and in and out. Right now he's out. I wonder if he's gonna be in by the time the tour happens in August. Anyway, that's what I want to talk about. And anyway, I want to tell you something I heard exciting. Some kind of rumor that Paul is going to be touring in the summer, maybe September time, like right after the summer, before it becomes fall or fall tours. But he's going to do stadiums again. It might be cold in September and October. Let me ask you this: why doesn't Paul do an indoor concert? So if it's cold, you won't be cold. You're gonna be indoors, probably, and you won't be cold. You won't have to worry about rain or anything like that. Of course, if you do something like MetLife, you're gonna have 80,000 people there. But if you do Madison Square Garden, you're gonna have 20,000. So you have four times the amount of people in MetLife than you could have in Madison Square Garden. So let him do 3 nights in the Garden and give people a chance to come. And it'll be a little smaller venue. And to do 1 night at MetLife. Hey, he did something for 500 people at that thing in the Bowery for $50 a ticket. Okay. And this is what I want to talk about. Basically, Zak Starkey, why was he fired? What happened? That's the main thing today. All right, guys. Take care. Nice talking to you again. Bye.